A volunteering veteran injured during a robbery last week at Walmart is set to go back and help more veterans next week.
I'm Mike Byer at the state capitol, where budget talks have concluded for the day without a budget in place.
Well, the rest of the afternoon, we'll actually have a dry slot during the afternoon hours for the most part, and then we hit the storms later on this evening, off into the night. I'm going to go over the timing on that coming up.
This is WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News on a busy day. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. It's also a soggy day here in the Bluegrass. Widespread rain across most of our viewing area.
And we're tracking the potential for storms this evening and into the overnight hours. Let's go first to WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris with the latest on the severe weather threat.
Yeah, this first batch of rain is right on cue. It's doing exactly what we were talking about early this morning. Right around 1 p.m. to maybe 1:30 is when we expect this to really fall apart, and it's doing that right now. So it's falling apart as it gets away from its main source of energy. We're going to have a big long break, about a 3 to 5 hour break, and then here comes the storms. Already severe thunderstorm warnings on these as they roll through Arkansas and now making its way about to pass over the Mississippi River off into western portions of Tennessee. Now it's heading our direction, but look how far away it is. I mean, we're talking about 325 miles away from Lexington, but I will tell you this, it is on the path to head right through our neck of the woods. I'm going to show you when you can expect these to move on in, because I have changed the timing on these from earlier this morning. I'm going to show you that coming up.
We'll see you then, and cleanup is underway in parts of Oklahoma after severe weather moved across that state. Some of the same system now headed this way. At least 7 people were injured, one of them critically, when at least 4 tornadoes touched down, damaging dozens of homes. Thousands of others are without power this afternoon. Meanwhile, the National Weather Service office in Jackson, Mississippi, says a possible tornado touched down there this morning. A survey team will be sent there in the coming days to determine if it was an actual twister or straight line winds. Now, for updated weather information anytime, including current flooding conditions and storm damage reports, just go to WKYT.com, click on the weather tab, or download the WKYT News app for your iPhone or your Android.
We turn now to breaking news out of Frankfort. Within the past few minutes, we've learned that a budget deal does not appear likely before the end of the legislative session.
A real derailment in the talks there. House Speaker Greg Stumbo announcing late this morning lawmakers have reached an impasse on the negotiations, and that decision could end up costing Kentucky taxpayers thousands of dollars if they have to have a special session. WKYT's Mike Byer is live at the state capitol with the breaking details.
That's right, Bill. House Speaker Greg Stumbo walked into a room packed of lawmakers shortly before 11 and announced to the room that they were not able to reach a budget agreement. Now, with that said, the clock continues to tick on lawmakers who had hoped to finalize a 2-year spending plan by tomorrow. That plan is now in jeopardy. Once again, the main focus this morning was centered around funding for pensions and education. Lawmakers, however, just couldn't reach an agreement. Republican leaders want to use roughly $300 million to pay down the state's massive public pension debt. Meanwhile, Democrats want to use the same money towards education. Now, there have been several meetings between Senate and House leadership to try and reach a compromise. We're told Governor Matt Bevin has been involved in some of those discussions. Now, if lawmakers don't reach an agreement by Friday, and it doesn't look like they will, lawmakers would adjourn until April 12th. That would mean legislators would not act on any vetoes that Governor Bevin hands down.
You know, if the governor wants to have a budget, I think he should intervene with the Senate, and I think that if he drops his request that public education be cut, then we can come to an accord.
Now, lawmakers can still pass a budget by April 15th, but Democratic House Speaker Greg Stumbo says the only way he would agree to that is if Governor Bevin agrees that he would not veto parts of the budget. That's the latest here in Frankfort. I'm Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, we thank you. Now, Governor Bevin has just told reporters minutes ago that he is confident that a budget deal can still be reached within the next 2 weeks. If a budget deal is not passed by April 15th, he would have to call a special legislative session.
Other news today, the man who detectives say stole money from a disabled veteran is in police custody this midday. David Kirk Jr., who was wanted for robbery, turned himself in. Police say Kirk stole a donation jar from Veterans Outreach outside the Walmart on New Circle Road last week. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner has reaction now from the veteran who was injured during the holdup in this Crime Tracker report. Caitlin?
The man who police say injured a volunteering veteran during a robbery last week outside of Walmart was at Bryan Station Kroger this morning when he turned himself in. Lexington police were looking for David Kirk Jr. after they say he stole money from disabled veterans. A week ago, police say he stole a jar from Veterans Outreach on New Circle Road. Rodney Brock, a volunteering veteran collecting donations, was injured trying to stop him. He says the jar was bolted to a table they had set up, so the robber threw the table and all into his truck.
Veterans helping veterans, and that money was not mine. And the only thing I could think of was to get in the back of the truck, but I never made it to the truck. I tried to get back up, my knees give out on me, and I went back down. He drugged me. I guess he drugged me maybe 5 yards.
Rodney is set to go back and volunteer at the same Walmart next week. He says he has no ill feelings toward the man who robbed him. In Lexington, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Now, Kirk contacted the Lexington police detective working this case directly, and then dispatch had patrol officers pick him up. A Central Kentucky man is recovering this midday after being stabbed multiple times. Police got a call around 7 o'clock this morning from a home on Bethany Road in Nicholasville. The victim reportedly told officers that he was at a neighbor's house when he was assaulted. Police are still trying to piece together exactly what happened.
From coal mining to computer coding, a company in Pikeville is hoping the downturn in the coal economy will lead to a new tech sector in the mountains. BitSource is celebrating its one-year anniversary with the tech company employing former coal miners who lost their jobs during the collapse of the coal economy in eastern Kentucky. The founder of the company says it's an easy transition for coal miners who are technical by nature.
Coal was always that giant tree that cast so much shade that nothing else could grow underneath. And so that giant tree is gone. And so now things can grow.
Founder Rusty Justice says when they put out an ad to hire computer coders, he expected about 50 or so applicants, but got more than 350. Tonight on WKYT News at 6, we'll hear from employees who have traded the mines for a computer desk. Well, animal-assisted therapy has been known to help people with all types of disabilities. One method involves using a horse. The trick is you can't ride it.
The Kentucky Horse Park is hosting this equine-assisted psychotherapy exercise called Iguala. Instructors believe guiding, pushing, or talking to a horse to go through obstacles helps with behavioral issues like PTSD.
We move them in this space that they've created that represents some important element of their life. And then in that way, they can tell us their story and allow us to follow their story through the horses without having to ride them.
If you look closely, you can see a person speaking to the horse. Experts say that's a replacement for traditional talk therapy.
All right, sounds very promising. Well, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump makes some controversial comments about abortion, but then backtracks. We'll have reaction from his opponents and what his campaign is saying coming up on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead, the magical new trailer for the Alice in Wonderland sequel has been released. We'll take a look at Kentucky native Johnny Depp's second turn as the Mad Hatter next on WKYT.
Coal in Kentucky has been hit hard.
We've exported coal for forever, so now what we want to do is export coal.
See how one Kentucky company is switching from coal to coating. Tonight at 6 on WKYT.
The kitchen was disgusting.
Building was inundated with cockroaches.
You have no idea.
Could his rental be this sickening? She said, Dad, I can't breathe. And next thing I know, she passed out. Hot bench.
Today at 4 on the CW Lexington.
I'm attorney Daryl Isaacs, the Hammer. And if you've been injured in a car wreck, call me now.
The insurance company usually puts up a fight, but Daryl Isaacs will know how to handle your case.
Car wreck? Think big. Call in the hammer. Attorney Daryl Isaacs.
Bring on the competition. A fistful of crayons and a forecast full of yuck. Bring on soccer balls, winter blues, and barbecues. Bring it all on. You've got durable, affordable Olympic on your team. Bring on the competition.
The all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is changing the automotive industry in Central Kentucky forever. Introducing lifetime warranty. It doesn't end after 10 years. It doesn't end after 100,000 miles. And is available at no extra cost. 100% parts, 100% labor, zero deductible forever. Visit BigMSuperstore.com. Shop the area's largest selection of quality vehicles, all with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Only at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
The AOP has had its eye on her for quite some time. We were just waiting for the right moment to move in. The vibe was anything but playful. Go. Okay. We knew we had to move in fast, but there was a crowd, so we had to play it cool. This is where the years of training paid off. We got the scratch-off ticket to her in the nick of time. We're agents of play, man. People think this job is all fun and games, but we take our fun seriously. That's what being an agent of play is all about.
Thank you.
Just doing our job.
Put a little play in your day with scratch-offs from the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education.
Accelerate your career plan. Kelly Services is now hiring production associates at Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Georgetown. Great pay and premium benefits package. For details and application, go to kellyservices.us/TMMK.
I'm attorney Daryl Isaacs, the Hammer. And for almost 23 years, I've been getting my clients all the money they deserve.
I wanted someone who would pick up the phone when I called. With Daryl Isaac, that's exactly what I got. Someone working for me.
Think big. Get the Hammer. Attorney Daryl Isaacs.
Welcome back to WKYT News. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is in the spotlight again today for controversial comments he made about abortion.
Weijia Jiang is on the campaign trail now with the latest.
Donald Trump is getting hammered for what he said Wednesday, that women should be punished for having abortions if they were made illegal.
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years,
I don't
what?
know. That I don't know. That
Well, why
I don't
not?
know.
Trump's fellow Republican candidates immediately criticized the comment.
That comment was wrong. It's the latest demonstration of how little Donald has thought about any of the serious issues facing this country.
Women shouldn't be punished. I think probably Donald Trump will figure out a way to say that he didn't say it or he was misquoted or whatever.
Trump quickly backtracked. His campaign manager issued a statement within hours that abortion providers, not patients, should be held legally responsible. Democrats Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are both back on the campaign trail today. Sanders did not address the controversy, focusing on labor at a rally in Pittsburgh.
Trade agreements have got to work for these people and their families, not just the CEOs of large corporations.
Even groups opposed to abortion rights spoke out about Trump's remark, saying he's out of step with their movement. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Washington.
And Sanders continues to campaign in New York. Hillary Clinton holding an event this afternoon in New York City. It's all ahead of that state's Democratic primary coming up April 19th. The United States and its key allies are seeking to put more pressure on North Korea during a nuclear security summit going on in Washington today. Those meetings are focusing on strategies to keep nuclear material out of the hands of terrorists and extremist groups around the world. More than 50 leaders are on hand. But two major nuclear powers are absent. Russian President Vladimir Putin refused his invitation, and Pakistan's president has canceled out due to the Easter bombing that killed 72 people. Pop superstar Lady Gaga and Vice President Joe Biden are teaming up for a rally in Las Vegas next week.
They're raising awareness about sexual assault on college campuses. This is not the first time the two have taken on this cause. Biden introduced Gaga at this year's Academy Awards, where she performed her Oscar-nominated song, Till It Happens to You. Gaga, who was a victim of sexual abuse, and the vice president have been outspoken proponents for combating campus violence. Kentucky native Johnny Depp will be back in Wonderland this summer. Depp is reprising his role as the Mad Hatter in Alice Through the Looking Glass. Disney's follow-up of 2010's Alice in Wonderland finds our heroine escaping from a mental hospital to her friends on the other side of the mirror. Late Alan Rickman gives his final performance in the film as the voice of the caterpillar. Alice Through the Looking Glass hits theaters May 27th, just in time for Memorial Day weekend.
Well, while the budget battle is reaching a boil in Frankfort this afternoon, Governor Matt Bevin is addressing another issue right now.
What the governor had to say about recent issues Kentuckians have had with accessing Medicaid. That's new at 12:30.
We're looking for that first batch of rain to move on out. A big break, about 3 to 5 hour break, and then look what's back toward Arkansas, headed our direction. Yes, some possible severe thunderstorms. We're going to talk about the timing on that. I've updated my new graphic. It's coming up next.
People know Window World as home of the original 189 window.
But that's just the beginning. We install siding too.
Our siding comes with energy-efficient, form-fitted foam.
Guaranteed for life.
Window World, simply the best siding for less.
My belly pain and constipation, I've heard it all. Eat more fiber, flax seeds, yogurt.
Get moving, keep moving. I know.
Try laxatives. Been there, done that.
My chronic constipation keeps coming back. I know. Tell me something I don't know.
Linzess works differently from laxatives. Linzess treats adults with IBS with constipation or chronic constipation. It can help relieve your belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements that are easier to pass. Do not give Linzess to children under 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to 17. It may harm them. Don't take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor about managing your symptoms proactively with Linzess.
Enjoy 0% financing for 5 years and free TVs with your qualifying purchase at Sleep Outfitters. Get this Sealy Pillow Top Queen set with gel foam on sale now for just $4.99, plus a free TV. Upgrade and save up to $300 on a Tempur-Pedic Ergo adjustable foundation. 0% financing for 5 years, free TVs, store-wide savings, and save up to $300 on a Tempur Ergo adjustable foundation. Only at Sleep Outfitters.
What's the affordable difference? It's their very affordable fees.
They care about me.
Dentures in just one day.
Their experienced denture team.
Call 1-800-DENTURE or go to affordabledentures.com for valuable coupons. Same-day dentures, extractions, and implants. Affordable fees, compassionate care, and satisfied patients.
What's the affordable difference? A great smile.
At Window World, you get the best price right up front.
Our windows feature the Good Housekeeping seal
And come with a lifetime limited warranty.
Act now and get a house full of windows for as low as $79 a month installed.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you, like WKYT on Facebook.
So I get the question on social media, does this rain help us out with the severe thunderstorms, at least a possibility later on this afternoon? Well, typically it does. When it rolls through earlier, it helps us out big time. But the problem is there is a big window between this batch of rain and our next batch of rain. So what we're going to be seeing, this continue to fall away, or fall apart rather, and you'll see that fall apart right around 1:30. And then you have about a 3 to 5 hour window. And in between this, from here to our next batch of rain, which will be our severe weather threat, you have bits and pieces of sunshine. And that is going to allow that energy to ramp right back up. We'll see temperatures get toward the 70-degree reading, and also that sunshine heating us up. Yeah, it gives that energy just in time for these storms to roll on through and tap into. Right now, that's where the severe weather is located. And you can see it's about 350 miles away. We have some time, but they're moving pretty quickly. So here's new timing on this. Now, I threw this graphic up early this morning on timing, and I've actually adjusted the time on this. So watch this, okay? So here's what we're going to be going through as we track across the rest of the afternoon off into the evening hours. We're looking anywhere from 3 to 6 p.m. and then you can see right there anywhere from 6 to 9 p.m. as we're rolling across the way, and or 5 to 8 p.m. That's where we're going to be seeing It roll across the central zone, so the timing on this is going to be 5 to 8 p.m. Lexington to Richmond, Danville, work your way southbound into the Somerset region, the Cumberland region, and then head back toward the east. You're looking at 8 p.m. to midnight. So 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I've updated that from earlier, as you saw an hour earlier. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. around here in Lexington. I would lean more toward the 6 or 7 p.m. in Lexington, Richmond, Danville, and then it moves over toward the east-southeast, 8 p.m. to right around midnight. That is the timing now as these storms race toward us and we get a little bit closer. We obviously have better confidence in the timing on this. But we're looking at the storm impact. What are we expecting out of this? Well, there is an opportunity, a small risk that is, but an opportunity for all these impacts to really come through the viewing area. So we're talking about high winds, that's close to moderate. Hail is a problem, flooding may be a problem, tornadic activity, very small risk with these, but nonetheless, all of those are in play as we track into late afternoon off into the evening hours. So your 7-day forecast shapes up like this on this first alert severe weather day. We'll be right around 72 degrees later on this afternoon. Remember, you got a big break here in about an hour to 2 hours. That's when you get out and knock out the grocery stores, the errands, whatever it may be, because then we hit late afternoon off into the evening and nighttime hours. That's when these storms rush on in here, guys. But like I said, strong storms we're confident in. Severe weather, we're still not extremely confident, but, you know, an isolated severe cell here or there will be possible later on today.
We'll have to do a little nowcasting this evening, right?
Absolutely.
Keep up
exactly
with it.
Right.
Thank you, Micah. And we're coming back on WKYT News in a moment. Morehead State will have to win one more game to wrap up a championship.
And some future Cats put on a Windy City show. Dave Baker has sports next.
And as we head to break, let's check stocks this afternoon. The major market indicators are going up.
Tonight.
You Chinese robot from the future? No.
Detective Lee is by the book.
I cannot violate a direct order from my captain.
Make sure not to tell anyone.
Detective Carter throws it out.
You're gonna pay for this! He's in a truck.
This must be a mistake. I was told a competent officer would assist me.
I assist no one.
Are you okay?
No, I ain't okay. I have a bullet in me.
Rush Hour premieres tonight or stream it live or on demand.
Dare to compare. This LG 49-inch LED TV is $449 at H.H. Gregg and only $399 at P-Rack. Save $170 over Lowe's on this Maytag washer. Plus free gift cards up to $500.
Nobody beats P-Racks.
Hey, pal, you got a cough this winter?
May I suggest?
Tough Love. Menthol Liptosols with big-time cooling flavor.
Or Soft Love. Milder flavored honey halls with real honey.
Tough Love.
Soft Love.
Get the love you love.
All across America, families are coming back to Time Warner Cable for a whole new experience.
We came back for internet speeds so fast, even the kids are impressed. Oh, she's impressed.
We're catching up on movies and shows on demand just as fast as we can watch them.
TWC's home Wi-Fi is so strong, we can use all our devices at the same time.
Come back today. You'll get 30 meg internet, TV, phone, and more for $89.99 a month. And ask how you could get a $300 reward card. Call now.
Hi, checking out the RAV4?
Yep, looking for something fun.
Well, with available Sport Tune suspension, you can turn any trip into an awesome adventure.
Yeah! Yeah! Errands!
Aren't they the best?
It's the final days of Toyota's One for Everyone sales event. Get 0.9% financing on the adventurous 2016 RAV4. Or lease one now for just $199 a month.
Have fun running those errands.
Toyota, let's go places.
Are you diabetic or pre-diabetic? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you suffer from chronic pain related to weight gain? Do you spend hundreds of dollars on obesity-related medications? If you want to be the best version of you, Ageless Medical Weight Loss can help. Ageless is a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution. Kim lost 238 pounds. Betty lost 135 pounds. They made a choice to become healthier, and so can you. Call today for a free consultation.
When big news breaks, be the first to know. Download the WKYT News app and turn on push alerts. Breaking news at your fingertips when you need to know what's going on. Push alerts, now available on the WKYT News app.
Dare to compare. 3-piece reclining group, $19.99. Plus a free 50-inch LED TV. Certa Perfect Sleeper Pillow Top Queen Set, $9.99. Free gift cards up to $500. 5 years, 0 interest and more.
Nobody beats P-Racks.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. WKYT.
The nation's best high school players, including 4 incoming Wildcats, had their time on the big stage last night for the annual McDonald's All-American basketball game. Lee K. Howard was there and tells us Kentucky fans have plenty to look forward to.
The 39th annual McDonald's All-American game is in the books, with the West team winning 114 to 107. But in games like this, it's less about the score and more about the experience.
I mean, it was just a fun experience. You know, I played pretty well in the first half, I think. A couple of easy buckets and everything, a couple of dunks. It was just, I go out there, have fun, compete a lot, try to dive on the floor, get a little, just try to play hard and everything. But it was a really fun experience.
All 4 future Kentucky Wildcats had highlight moments. De'Aaron Fox had 2 points and 7 assists. Sasha Killia-Jones went for 6 points. Malik Monk showed off his athleticism with 11 points and several impressive dunks. But the future Cat with the best performance was Bam Adebayo, 16 points and 12 rebounds in just 22 minutes.
I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, I just play hard, so I didn't worry about stats. I just wanted to play hard and just go show people I'm made of.
Bam's been dominant. That's what he does. He goes out there, rebounds everything he can, and dunks everything. So that's Bam.
Bam played well. I think he had 16 points, 12 rebounds. I mean, that's what he's going to do next year. So it's the norm for him now.
Now, several of these guys will meet up once again in the coming weeks at the Nike Hoop Summit and the Jordan Brand Classic, but all said they're most looking forward to meeting up and teaming up next season at Kentucky. Here in Chicago at the United Center, Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
Thanks, Lee K. Adebayo, certainly impressive. Meantime, the last Kentucky team still playing, Morehead State, trying to wrap up the championship of the CBI tournament. They won game 1 in Morehead, but last night taking on Nevada in Reno. And MSU trailing by 5. Anthony Alici starts from the left block and then finishes on the right block. Nevada grows the lead to 12 in the second half when DJ Fenner hits the 3, led all scorers with 26. 6.5 to play. How about Corbin Collins? Nice cross-court pass, pops the 3. Morehead State down just 4, 61-57. Eagles keep coming. Brent Arrington good with a pull-up. 62-59 Nevada. Arrington was 16. But the Wolfpack, they hit their free throws down the stretch. Nevada wins it 77-68. Third and deciding game tomorrow night in Reno. Tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel, we'll have reaction from some of those future Wildcats you just saw who showed off their skills during the McDonald's All-America game. That's coming up tonight at 6 on 630 WLAP. Guys, that's a look at sports on this Thursday.
All right, it was good to get a look at some future Cats there. Thank you.
And there's more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
A lot going on today. Someone in Kentucky is a whole lot richer this afternoon after hitting it big on a lottery game.
Coming up at 12:30, I'm Michelle Chamberlain with a tragic story for everyone involved. A young girl was struck and killed yesterday afternoon in western Kentucky. You'll hear from a witness of that accident coming up.
And also tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot, $50 million. And Saturday night's Powerball jackpot is $135 million.